Okay, we'll call a meeting to order. This is the Thursday, July 18th, 2024, regular business meeting of the Waseca School Board. It's 5:30 p.m. and we're in the Central Building second floor conference room, and we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, motion and a second to approve the agenda as is. All in favor of that motion, say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Recognition of visitors, don't see any tonight. We'll move on to the next item, organization of the board. Before we start here, I'm just going to ask Dr. Hutzpeth if he can explain that term consideration for everybody.
Well, certainly, as we're doing organizational items, they're not down in the action items for a reason. That's because as we're looking at these resolutions on an annual basis, these are resolutions that we have the opportunity to complete and finish here at the board table if we so choose while we do our designations. So for example, if we chose for it not to be Mr. Merline, but someone else to do that particular operation, we could change that here in the meeting as part of the organizational items. When you get down to the action items, you're approving the resolution as is, and it's yes or no. And if it's no, then we have to do another motion to approve a different resolution and go from there. Whereas these resolutions on top, you can kind of adjust as you need be in the same motion. That's why it says consideration of resolution versus approved resolution down below. That's just a subtle difference, but it's something that is part of our organizational process.
Okay.
So when we make a motion, should we pretty much read kind of what's, I mean, obviously the resolutions we have to read, but
Right. The other two, those aren't resolutions.
Okay.
You, just like any action item, you're just making a motion to approve it as it's written.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Well, let's do item A, designate school or the medical facility for the school.
I'll make a motion that we move to designate Waseca Mayo Clinic as school medical facility for the 2024-2025 school year.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, motion and a second. Waseca Mayo Clinic as the school medical facility for 24-25 school year. All in favor of that motion?
Can I just
say
make a quick comment? The reason why we do that is so that we just have what the school district has determined to be kind of our go-to medical facility should we need support and or any other assistance through the course of the school year. Much like our designated newspaper or designated attorney, we would use others if we needed to, but we will go with that's our primary source, and being our local partner, that obviously is logical.
Okay, thanks again. Okay, all in favor of that motion, say aye. Aye. Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Item B, consideration of resolution for investments and payments of claims. And I will read that resolution. Mr. Matthew Moline, Director of Business Services, will be authorized to make payment prior to board approval of claims that cannot be deferred until the next board meeting without loss to the district of discount privileges. And furthermore, Mr. Moline is authorized to initiate and transact electronic fund transfers for the purpose of investment of excess monies and for payment of bond principal and interest. Said authority is delegated pursuant to Minnesota Statute 1979, Section 471.38, Subdivision 3, and Minnesota Statutes 1979, Section 123.35, Subdivision 15.
Second.
Okay. Motion and a second to approve that resolution. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. All right. Consideration of support services. Should we read this or just?
For a resolution, we should do a roll call vote.
Oh, I'm
Good
sorry.
reminder.
I'm sorry.
Thank you for that. Yes.
Yeah, I was wondering that too.
Okay.
Amy, you want to read the names? Yep.
Alyssa Bowers,
Yes.
Aaron Kruger,
Yes.
Charlie Creed,
Yes.
Anita Mansfield,
Yes.
Julie Anderson,
Yes.
Dave Dunn,
Yes?
Very good.
Okay. Item C, consideration of support services. Should we read that or should we just,
It's in the packet there. Essentially, it's services such as day-to-day office administration that you're delegating to the superintendent per this motion. So it's not necessarily to be read because it's in your packet.
okay, okay. Motion to approve?
Can make a motion to approve consideration of support services as described in our.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, motion and second for approval of support services. All in favor of that motion, say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. And item D, consideration of resolution for machine sign signatures.
I will make this motion since my name is in the resolution. So, so I'll make a motion to approve the resolution for machine sign signatures. I, Julie Anderson, clerk of the School Board of Independent School District Number 829, do hereby certify that at a regular meeting of the School Board of the Independent School District, duly and regularly called and held at the Central Building Second Floor Conference Room in Waseca, Minnesota, on the 18th day of July 2024. There being a quorum of said board present, the following was unanimously passed as appears from the records of said school district and is now in full force and effect. Be it resolved that the Keene Bank of Waseca, the Midwest Bank of Waseca, and the MSD Liquid Asset Fund U.S. Bank as designated of this corporation be and it is hereby requested authorized and directed to honor checks, drafts, or other orders for the payment of money drawn in the school district's name, including those drawn to the individual order of any person or persons whose name or names appear thereon as signer or signers thereof, when bearing or purporting to bear the facsimile signature of any three of the following: Chairman Dave Dunn, Clerk Julie Anderson, Treasurer Grant Sheffert. The Midwest Bank, Keene Bank, and the MSD Liquid Asset Fund U.S. Bank shall be entitled to honor and to charge the school district for such checks, drafts, or other orders, regardless of by whom or by what means the facsimile signature or signatures thereon may have been fixed thereto. If such facsimile signature or signatures resemble the facsimile specimens duly certified to or filed with the Midwest Bank, the Keene Bank of Waseca, and the MSD Liquid Asset Fund U.S. Bank by the clerk or other officer of this school district. Be it further resolved that any and all resolutions heretofore adopted by the school board of this school district and certified to the Midwest Bank, Keene Bank, and MSD Liquid Asset Fund U.S. Bank as governing the duration of this school district's account with it, and hereby continue in full force and effect, except as the same may be supplemented or modified by the foregoing part of this resolution. In witness thereof, I have hereunto subscribed my name as clerk of said school district this 18th day of July 2024. Julie Anderson, School Board Clerk.
I have a question on that. Do you want me to abstain from that as an employee, or since I'm not a signer, is that not?
Not a signer. This
Okay.
yeah.
All right, so that was my motion.
Thank you.
Just a reminder after all of
Okay,
that.
we need a roll call vote.
We need a second.
We need a second.
And then we'll-
I'll
then-
second that.
Okay. Go ahead, Amy, when you're ready.
No.
Alyssa Bowers,
Yes.
Aaron Kruger,
Yes.
Charlie Creed,
Yes.
Julie Anderson,
Yes.
Anita Mansfield,
Yes.
Dave Dunn.
Yes. Thank you. Okay, moving on to payment of claims. Adita.
I recommend action of to approve the payments for the month of June for account payable of the amount $2,048,815.42. For payroll, $943,700.70. And for June dental, $22,736.93.
Thank you.
Second.
Second. Okay, motion and second to approve payment of claims. All in favor of that motion, say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Motion to approve consent agenda.
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda as described below.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. All in favor of that motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. On to the informational items. Dr. Hudspeth.
Very good, thank you. Good evening, and as we get through the middle of the summer, we have a few things I would like to cover with the board this evening as part of my report. The first of which is just the first set of proposed goals for myself as a superintendent for 2024-25. Had the opportunity to share these with some members of the Superintendent Evaluation Committee as we cross paths this week, but for the most part, I want to share it with the entire board this evening. And so as you have a chance to review these, you can give your feedback to that committee again, and then we will meet again in August and present a final draft for you in the August board meeting. Some highlights here that I'd like to point out. In the strategic plan implementation, goal number 1, emphasizing some accountability and plan providing, particularly you see evidence of performance 2, giving communication with the school board, some action plan for as we're working through our achievement results and how we're supporting particularly literacy based on the results that we're seeing this spring, but also as you provided the feedback to me in my annual evaluation. That was something the board was hoping to see some continued communication around, so we'll have that there. And performance measure 3, really working with the building leadership as they're continuing to implement the strategic plan, working on the performance goals in their buildings. Some of the things that we know through the work as a superintendent is to support building leadership, and as school board felt it would be an excellent time this year to focus on how I'm doing that and demonstrating evidence to you all of how I'm supporting the building leaders and making sure that we're continuing to move forward with our goals. The area of community engagement remains largely the same because through feedback through the board evaluation, but also with just conversation with everybody, interaction and feedback, that's just an ongoing goal. It's always something we continue to get better at and be out in the community and work with and continue to roll. When I thought about my moving into the effective and efficient operations type goal, really wanted to kind of move into the area of continuing to move the process along. We'll think about what our plans are for long-term facility information. The board obviously is going to be making that decision and determining what the next plan is, but I'd like to hold myself accountable to keep that process moving along and give the board the information they need and provide any support and recommendations I can provide so the board can make that decision here in the next year. There's not any dates attached to that because we all know that as we've seen over the last however long, that's how things roll, but it's not something that I'd like to just continue to put on the back burner for myself. We know our budget and our strategic plan. Some of those big areas are relatively well established for the oncoming year. So this is something we can focus our energy on. And then, of course, implementing the plan, whatever that plan is set forth by the board, would be something that I'd be holding myself accountable to. And seeing like particularly the achievement and strategic plan goal and the operations goal being larger ones. I stopped at 3 as proposed for this time with several measures of effective performance under all of those. So what I'd ask for this evening is just for you to consider those goals, share your feedback with Ms. Bowers, Mr. Dunn, Ms. Mansfield as members of the evaluation committee so that when we meet again in August, they can give me any feedback or suggestions you may have, and then we can in August 15th board meeting, we put these goals up for official approval so I can begin my work here in this fashion for the next fiscal year. Cool. Any questions on that at this point? Okay. The next thing I wanted to share with you is kind of a show and tell, so I'll pass this around as you work through. One of the things that the board has been focusing on the last 2 years was continuing to support new board members and creating something that board members, many of you probably wish you had as you came on the board as we were working through this process. And so we got there. You know, all of you are the recipients of, boy, we wish we had that, but you can see what it looks like right now as far as a board member handbook goes, and that initial draft is completed. The evaluation committee also provided some great feedback on some things to include and add that we didn't have last time. The draft I had shown only had kind of a couple committee examples on there. Now we have all the committees listed in there and kind of what they do specific to Waseca. So upon completion here, there's a couple things in there just to edit and finalize with page numbers and such. Amy will get a copy of this to each of you, so you each have a board member binder to work with that as well as something that I can share with any prospective board members who may be interested in joining the board. And then as a board member comes on, they have some new opportunities to see what happens as a board member from that perspective. So that's kind of exciting. We've been working on that and talking about it long enough to see some goal or some fruition is really good. Credit where it's due. Amy has done a lot of work with the formatting, putting that together again. So much appreciated for the work that she does in our office to put together that with such efficiency. So it's exciting. Other pieces too, just some general highlights. We're progressing with hiring. Right now we do have a speech pathologist we're looking to hire, and we're looking for the community CTE position at the high school, 712 position there. So continuing to work through that process. We're watching numbers at our elementaries particularly as we're waiting for kindergarten numbers. So if you have a kindergartner, please register and do your verification as quickly as you can. We have as many as about a third of our expected kindergartners who have not yet officially registered. So as we're planning teaching staff and making sure that we have the right amount of staff and we don't have classes of 12 or 30, it's helpful to know who's actually coming. So if yeah.
Is it pretty common for that delay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Right now, the largest delay, quite honestly, is siblings. Because if I have a second grader, that's just not on my radar because I just know I'm coming to school there in the fall. So if you have younger kids that are coming to join your other kids at Hartley, go ahead and please get them signed up so we know, or let us know they're waiting and they're a year, that kind of thing there for
Would
that.
that be a simple Facebook post?
That's what I was just gonna say.
Yeah,
share it to, like,
Ben sent a phone call out today as well, but then
Yep.
also we'll put it out there again for Facebook.
I know I hit ignore when I was out busy.
Okay, got it. There it was. Yeah. So yeah, that's just something to continue to work on. But we have, what that would be there, that would be adding a staff member to Hartley, and so we're prepared. We've got candidates that we've been talking with, so to confirm that option there. There's that process too. Also, I will say too, I heard about this at the fair from a couple community members or parents that they were running in, do a hang up in one spot with the verification form on their phone, where it wasn't letting them get to the next spot because of the way it had to go to the Google Docs and back to the form and everything. So we've since, we think, corrected that, and so hopefully that should be supported for everybody there for that. As far as you've seen the handbook there, we should end up seeing that as far as negotiations update, if you believe we still have our director of technology yet to finish up, but we've TA'd with him here this week, and so our next board meeting you'll see that, which will catch us all up with our contracts, figured that part out, and then we should be in pretty good shape. One thing that Mr. Dunn and I talked about on the way here, your timesheets for January through June will be up to you here next week, so you'll be able to do for you to get paid for the first half of this fiscal year. We're talking in the finance committee meeting about all the things that we do in July that actually counts for last fiscal year, that being one of them. And so didn't quite have them all typed up for this evening for you when you're all here, but we'll get them to you all next week so you can get those turned in. So that's my update for this evening.
All right, thank you. Any questions for Eric?
I just want to say my quick glancing through that, it's really nice. So thank you to you and Amy for the work that you put into that. So
Great.
yeah.
Long time coming, but we finally got it done. So good. Matt?
Sure. Yeah, I don't have a ton for you this evening, but just a couple quick things. It's already been mentioned, but yeah, annual verification is open. We're doing things a little different this year, where we're not giving a hard deadline other than the start of school year, but obviously it always helps to get it done early and often especially for those younger students, as Dr. Hudspeth mentioned. So further communications from that will come from each building individually at this point. But yeah, just want to let people know that it's out there. Always a good reminder. As we talked about in the study session, one of the agenda items you'll see later tonight is the LTFM plan. That is just the same information that was at the study session, but now we'll actually do the approving as a resolution and the statement of assurances, like I mentioned. And then also we have disposal of the band uniforms. As we've updated the uniforms, we're going to try to find a good way to distribute the old ones. We're still working on the exact method of that, but just wanted you to know that's what that's about. We have quite a few of them, it looks like, according to the list. So, and then just a couple agreements on here as well for you to consider. We did TA, I believe, with Palmer as well for our transportation contract, and we're meeting with Kelly Lenz next week to kind of finalize that in. So you'll see that in August as well. And then I do have the graph and the comparison for both revenue and expenditures there. Kind of as we've been trending all year, nothing really is sticking out at this moment, at least in my end as I inspected. But if anyone had any questions, I would field those now.
Do you want to point out why June might look a little different for
sure.
the previous audits?
Yeah. So June is kind of an interesting month with when you do this because like if we're talking about May is pretty much done once you get past it. But June with payables and receivables can continue to change up until the audit's finalized. So it's a little unfair to look at June right now as like without the lens of knowing that there's up until the audit's completed that June will still move around. So when you're looking at the previous 2 years, just understand that those are audited and done, and we still have lots of payables and receivables to book currently in this year. But it is a good idea to, if you take it with the grain of salt that you need to, it's just knowing that we're already at 93%. So, and the one thing I mentioned, state aid receivable, just so you know, we don't get all of our state aid within those 12 months of the fiscal year. The state likes to drag it out. So we have another 10% coming from them, which is about 2.3 million for this year. So, and that's every district's kind of the same boat. It's just how the state balances their cash flow. But
You mentioned school transportation contracts, and we do have something to approve on. That's not Palmer and Lenz? That's something different?
No, that's private transportation of special education students.
yeah, that cluster of stuff is coming from our sped office. So.
Okay.
Just for the disposal of band uniforms, is it something that you try to donate to somebody or?
I think we're going to try to come up with a method to maybe put them up as some way for band members or former students to maybe purchase them or something along those lines. But we're still, like I said, formulating what exactly is going to happen. But yeah, they won't just end up in the trash. We're not going to go down that road.
No, Mr. Lawrence sent us an email a few weeks ago about his proposed option to auction them off or to be able to sell them off to former band members for, obviously a minimal cost, but some cost. But first process that is you to approve the disposal, then we'll follow our policies to get through the rest of them. But it's you're right. We do try to get them and get some value out of them, but also to people who might want them, right? We're not just certainly going to toss them.
Okay.
Yep.
What kind of age does something like that have?
We do that every 10 years?
I think we're on a 10-year cycle with
Yeah.
those.
Band uniforms,
That's a
yeah.
long time with those.
Yeah.
And then you had talked previously about those possibly being sold together to a smaller school. Is that an option, or does that not really
It could be if we don't have the interest of,
Okay.
if we don't have the interest of individuals. Sounds to me like there's quite a bit of interest
Okay.
from alumni and the band community that they think it'd be kind of cool to have one.
Okay.
So if we were able to do it that way, then and keep it in the community, that's kind of
For sure.
fun. Yeah.
Great.
Okay, we'll,
I was going to
Thank
say,
you,
it looks like
Eric.
we have
Thank you,
about
Matt.
150 to 160 roughly from what I'm seeing. So, yeah.
okay.
Yep, that's all I had for this evening.
All right, thank you. We'll move on to committee board member reports. Charlie, you want to start us out tonight? Got much to say?
Not much to say.
Okay. Darren?
I missed out on my policy meeting. Facilities we had here a few weeks back. Or
Last week.
Last week, yeah. Nothing too crazy. We got a report that we're kind of going through that we went through in our meeting last week, so we're all up to date on that. And we had legislative, which you've covered that as well last week, so
Yeah.
that's about it.
I don't have anything else to add either.
Okay. Do you want to say anything about the finance committee that we just,
I'm not going to try to reiterate that.
okay, all right. Julie?
I just had the facility legislative, which we went over in the work session last week, so.
Okay. Adita?
We had superintendent evaluation meeting and we discussed his goals, and policy meeting, we are going to approve the series of 500 or 600 policies tonight.
Okay, I had personnel superintendent evaluation and finance today. I guess nothing really too much to add there. To the personnel committee meeting, and Dr. Hudspeth already alluded to this about our kindergarten enrollment, that we're kind of sitting, we have 4 sections now, correct?
Well, we have 5 sections.
We have 5 sections.
And we have not determined whether or not we're going to reduce or do anything with that yet. But
Okay.
we're watching the enrollment. We do have a couple other sections throughout I want to be sensitive to staff members who are involved in this, but we're watching sections throughout elementary. So we still would need to hire one more teacher when kindergarten numbers get to where they need to be.
Okay.
But I can't speak to exact placement of teachers yet because that's moving things around. So, yeah.
Okay.
But I want to be conscious of all the folks who don't want to hear it right now in a school board meeting that they might have a different grade to teach next week. So,
Okay. I did get an email from Colin and from Ellen, and they just said Ellen and I will both be unable to make it to the school board meeting, so here are our updates if you'd like to read them for us. There's not a lot, since not all the activities have started up yet, so this month's list is pretty short. And they just mentioned 2. They said band camp week 1 started on Monday. We are so excited to start putting the show together and get out onto the field. I know I only live as a crow flies a couple blocks from the football field and the practice field, so I've heard them out there early in the morning and almost until dark. So yeah, they're out there. And he said that student council has started to plan for the upcoming year. We're excited about our plan for homecoming this fall. And then he said for a shout out, he said thank you to all the people who sponsored or will sponsor and support the free school supplies event at WIS on July 29th. Eric, do you have any more information on that or anything?
well, yeah, it was posted maybe a week ago or so on that'll happen here at the end of this month, sponsored by some local churches in the community, is what Susan was able to share with me at the time. So some great support from our community for our kids, and so you probably won't find your entire list, but you sure could make a dent in it. If any families are in need of that, please check it out. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Recognitions, positive board feedback. I'll just start off by saying thanks to everybody who was able to work at the fair this year. Charlie.
Well, I took a walk around school last night, and the band was rehearsing. There was a baseball game going on out there. There was soccer games, and there was a lot of. And this morning, I came around again, and there was lots of cars around there. So lots of things going on. So real shout out to all the summer employees that are really digging in and keeping kids learning. Even though it's a different sort of learning, they're still learning on this. So. It's a good job for everybody, so good job.
Darren.
I'd like to just say thanks to everything put together probably through community ed for the summer activities. I'm sure there's quite a bit that go on in the summertime, and it takes a lot of people to be involved to keep that going for the kids to be involved, and even people in the community to have other opportunities.
Thank you. Melissa?
Just a couple of things to add. Blue Jay Boosters, those letters got sent out today, so thanks to that organization for keeping things moving along there. And then it seems like pretty much all of the camps, I think, are over as they're preparing for captain's practice coming up here in a few weeks. But just wanted to thank all of the coaches and the volunteers and the parents that were watching open gyms and the high school athletes for making those happen this summer.
Thank you. Julie?
I just kind of wanted to piggyback on what you said about the fair, but just thank you to all the organizers and the volunteers at the fair. It was a fun week, and for the most part, decent weather, and not too bad. And it was a great way to kind of celebrate the middle of summer. So, yeah.
Rita?
I think everything was tolerable period. I don't know. It's quiet month, I guess.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll move on to our action items then. Motion for item A. Approved purchase of service agreement for mental health services.
I make a motion to approve purchase of service agreement for mental health services.
All right,
Second.
motion and a second.
If I could make a note, Mr. Dunn, just A through D are all pertaining to our extended school year, to our special education services that our students are, and I believe some of those, if you need to look at them again, are in your online packet as well, but
Okay.
that's where those are. The agreements for the services and staff sharing are directly for student support, and the transportation contracts are for individual families that need to transport their students to extended school year. That's what those four pertain to.
Okay, all in favor of approving item A, say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Motion for item B.
I'll make a motion to approve school transportation contracts.
I'll second that.
Okay, motion and a second to approve school transportation contracts. All in favor of that motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Motion for item C.
I'll make a motion to approve JWP staff sharing agreement.
I'll second that.
Okay, motion and a second to approve JWP staff sharing agreement. All in favor of that motion, say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Item D, approve WEM staff sharing agreement.
I'll make a motion to approve the WEM staff sharing agreement.
Okay,
Second.
okay, motion and a second to approve the WEM staff sharing agreement. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Motion for item E.
I'll make a motion to approve the Community Ed 2024-2025 pay rates as presented.
I'll second that.
Okay. All in favor of that motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. All right, moving on to, I guess I went off here.
F.
F? Okay, approve resolution in conjunction with 10-year long-term facilities maintenance, LTFM expenditure and revenue plans. And, trying to find that.
I can make a motion and I'll read the resolution.
Okay, go ahead, if you want.
I make a motion to approve the resolution in conjunction with 10-year long-term facility maintenance and expenditure and revenue plans. Whereas to qualify for long-term facilities maintenance revenue, Minnesota statutes 123B.595 subdivision 4 states the school district must annually adopt and approve a 10-year facilities plan by July 31 for commissioner approval. Whereas the school district has developed a 10-year long-term facility maintenance plan consistent with this law. Therefore, be it resolved that the School Board of Independent School District Number 829 approves and adopts the attached 10-year long-term facility maintenance plan for fiscal year 26 on the 18th of July, 2024.
Second.
Thank you. Okay, motion and a second to approve item
Roll call.
F.
F. Well, I write notes on the original agenda.
Yeah.
And then when that changes, I don't always catch it. So, roll call vote.
Julie Anderson,
Yes.
Lenita Mansfield,
Yes.
Charlie Creve,
Yes.
Darren Kruger,
Yes.
Alyssa Bowers,
Yes.
Dave Dunn.
Yes. Okay, item G.
I make a motion to approve LTFM statement of assurance. Says assurances.
Okay,
I'll second that.
okay. We don't have to read anything there? No? Okay. Motion and a second to approve item G, long-term facilities maintenance statement of assurances. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Approve item H, resolution establishing dates for filing affidavits of candidacy. Julie?
Yeah, I can, you want me to
Please.
read the whole thing on this one?
Yeah.
Okay. I make a motion for the resolution establishing dates for filing affidavits of candidacy. Be it resolved by the School Board of Independent School District Number 829, State of Minnesota as follows. 1, the period for filing affidavits of candidacy for the office of School Board Member of Independent School District Number 829 shall begin on July 30th, 2024, and shall close on August 13th, 2024. An affidavit of candidacy must be filed in the office of the school district clerk, and the $2 filing fee paid prior to 5:00 p.m. on August 13th, 2024. 2, the clerk is hereby authorized and directed to cause notice of said filing dates to be published in the official newspaper of the district at least 2 weeks prior to the first day to file affidavits of candidacy. 3, the clerk is hereby authorized and directed to cause notice of said filing dates to be posted at the administrative offices of the school district at least 10 days prior to the first day to file affidavits of candidacy. 4, the notice of said filing dates shall be substantially the following form. Notice of filing dates for elections to the School Board, Independent School District Number 829, Waseca, State of Minnesota. Notice is hereby given that the period for filing affidavits of candidacy for the office of School Board Member of Independent School District Number 829 shall begin on Tuesday, July 30th, 2024, and shall close at 5:00 p.m. on Tuesday, August 13th, 2024. The general election shall be held on Tuesday, November 5th, 2024. At that election, 3 members will be elected to the school board for a term of 4 years. Affidavits of candidacy are available from Julie Anderson, School District Clerk, or the Superintendent's Office, 501 East Elm Avenue, Waseca. The filing fee for this office is $2. A candidate for this office must be an eligible voter, must be 21 years of age or more on assuming office, must have been a resident of the school district from which the candidate seeks election for 30 days before the general election, and must have no other affidavit on file at the same primary or next ensuing general election. The affidavits of candidacy must be filed in the office of the superintendent, and the filing fee paid prior to 5:00 p.m. on Tuesday, August 13th, 2024.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Why you get paid the big bucks?
That was my motion, but I want to make a note that it says it's available from Julie Anderson, but only in the school district office. So don't come knock on my door.
You don't carry that around your back
No.
pocket or your purse?
I know, right? Yeah, so I made a motion, so you need a second.
Okay.
Yeah.
Second?
I'll second that.
Okay, another roll call vote. Amy, please?
Anita Mansfield,
Yes.
Julie Anderson,
Yes.
Charlie Creed,
Yes.
Alyssa Bowers,
Yes.
Aaron Gruber,
Yes.
Dave Dunn.
Yes. Okay, moving on to action item I, approve 2024-2025 resolution for the Minnesota State High School League membership. And I will read that. It says, let it be resolved that the governing board or entity of Independent School District 829, Waseca Public Schools, located in the state of Minnesota, delegates the control, supervision, and regulation of interscholastic activities and athletics referred to in Minnesota Statute Section 128C.01 to the Minnesota State High School League, and so by here certifies to the State Commissioner of Education as provided for by Minnesota statutes. Further resolved that the school listed is authorized by this, the governing board of said school district or school, to renew its membership in the Minnesota State High School League and participate in the approved interscholastic activities and athletics sponsored by said league and its various subdivisions. Further resolved that this governing board or entity hereby adopts the Constitution, bylaws, policies, rules, and regulations of said league and all amendments thereto as the same as are published in the latest edition of the league's official handbook, on file at the office of the school district or school, or as appears on the league's website as the minimum standards governing participation in said league-sponsored activities and athletics. Further, the administration and responsibility for determining student eligibility and for the supervision of such activities and athletics are assigned to the official representatives identified by this governing board or entity. I'll make that motion for that resolution.
Also,
Okay. Another roll call vote, please, Amy.
Charlie Creed,
Yes.
Darren Kruger,
Yes.
Melissa Bowers,
Yes.
Julie Anderson,
Yes.
Anita Mansfield,
Yes.
Dave Dunn.
Yes. Item J, appointment of designated Minnesota State High School League representatives. Do we vote on this or just
It's an approval of the,
vote on it?
of the slates,
Okay.
yep. There's no change to last year's.
Right. You want me to read them or no?
They're written down here. Yeah, you don't
Okay,
need, they're
we're
not
good.
necessary to read them.
I'll make a motion.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, motion and a second to approve item J, appointment of designated Minnesota State High School League representatives. All in favor of that motion, say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Item K, approve Minnesota School Boards Association and renewal of MSBA policy service.
I'll make a motion to approve Minnesota School Boards Association and renewal of the MSBA policy service.
Second.
Okay. Motion and a second to approve action item K. All in favor of that motion, say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Item L, approve 2024-2025 school handbooks as presented.
I make a motion to approve 2024-25 school handbooks as presented for Hartley Elementary, Waseca Intermediate School, Waseca Junior Senior High, and Waseca Area Learning Center.
Okay, thank you.
Second.
Okay, motion and a second to approve school handbooks for the 2024-2025 school year. All in favor of that motion, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
And I'll just make a note that school handbooks are always subject to policy changes that the school board may determine they're a different policy. So if any of the policies that are included in the handbook is updated by the board, it's thereby updated in the handbook as well. So it's not like we would not, they wouldn't align. So just note for families out there looking in two different places.
Okay. Moving on to item M, approve reviewed policies.
I make a motion to approve reviewed policies 517, 518, 519, 520, 521.
Okay, thank you.
Second.
Second. All in favor of approval of the reviewed policies, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Item N, approve disposal of band uniforms.
I'll make a motion to approve the disposal of band uniforms.
Okay,
I'll second that.
okay. Motion and a second to approve the disposal of band uniforms. You two will take care of that then?
Yep.
All in favor of that motion, say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
And just because it's an interesting one, we'll make sure we report back to you how it's going. Because that's an interesting one to see what happened to them. Yeah.
Okay. Upcoming items and reminders, next work session is Thursday, the 1st of August, not all that far away. Next regular meeting, business meeting is Thursday, August 15th. Anybody have anything else tonight? Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Okay.
Second.
Okay. Motion and second to adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.